I sit beneath the witch's tree, the elder mother talks to me. A journey to the other side, the fragrance takes me there. Old lady standing wise and bent, midsummer's night, I breathe your scent. The other world so near, so far, so will you lift the veil? I sleep beneath the witch's tree, the rollright stones watch over me. The fae, they dance by full moonlight, I watch them as they shine. Breathe deep and drink a wine. Oh, queen of herbs, good fortune bring, you mystic healing ways I sing. For you I'll meet the fairy folk, all dancing in a ring. Old girl, give up thy sacred word and staff and wand. To me you should, for I will give you some of mine when I become a tree. I sleep beneath the witch's tree, the rollright stones watch over me. The fae, they dance by full moonlight, I watch them as they shine. Breathe deep and drink a wine. And the power to see ahead more clearly now, the path within the mist. Oh, lady standing wise and bent, midsummer's night, breathe your scent. You're the world so near, so far, I see beyond the veil. I sleep beneath the witch's tree, the rollright stones watch over me. The fae, they dance by full moonlight, I watch them as they shine. Breathe deep and drink a wine.
You're listening to Meet the Bands on All Things Pagan Radio, and I'm your host, Linda Urshin. Today, I'll be talking to George Nicholas from Kernannas Rising. Hi, George, and thanks for agreeing to this interview. Could you start by telling us a little bit about yourself and the band?
Hi, well, I'm George Nicholas, also known as Kernannas Rising. Musically about myself, came in my later years. I'm basically an artist, cartoonist and a muralist, a professional artist and cartoonist. And I run a charity and pursue that in the charity work as well. So we benefit children's hospitals, old people's homes, special needs schools, that kind of thing. But then in my later years, I kind of went into writing poetry. It was suggested by friends and people at festivals I went to that they were really nice and they'd be lovely to be played at festivals as songs. So I went away, pursued that path and come back with a few tunes and cobbled a few songs together, mostly based on the inspiration of trips to North Wales, to Anglesey, to the Druidic Order in Anglesey, certain sacred sites in England, and I've always been fascinated with since I was a young child, and I didn't know why. So most of these songs were inspired by my connections to the people and places that I go to and deal with. so be it. I pursued a few more songs, and then the idea of why don't I do an album was thrown at me, and so that's what had happened. I had this collection of work, and it came out in the first album, which was the Wild Soul, which is obviously a celebration of a lot of the seasons and some of the subjects that are close to my heart, you know, some green issues. So that's how I got into that. The musician side, really, I was on my own. I was a bit marooned. I only knew one or two people from open mic and music nights, and I asked them to get involved. It wasn't their cup of tea. It wasn't rock and roll, and it wasn't the stuff that they liked or were used to. But because they were friends, they kind of came on board. I just check out the fact that I'm doing the right chords, or is the music okay? Because I still don't probably know any more than about 3 chords. I actually play from the heart. I know what I want, and I know how to get it, but I don't know what half of these things are called. I'm pretty big on imagination and the will. So I knew what I wanted, and I knew I would get there. So I surrounded myself with some musicians. Like I say, I've been blessed by some of the musicians are quite good, but over the last couple of years, they come and go. You know, like friendships come and go, and musicians want to pursue other things. I am lucky to have a phenomenal flute player, Martin Robertson. He's been with me from the start. He's a Druidic pagan guy. I have Matt McGrory, he's on Jules Holland's band. He's on and off the television. He's very, very, just such a varied and talented musician and guitarist. I've got Phil Orme on bass and anything else harmonies. I did have Barry Bycliffe, but he decided it wasn't for him after a year. And then we had a transition from the first album to the second, where we had to then pull in a couple of girls to do harmonies. So the band is forever changing. So basically, I've got my songs, I sing my songs, I play my guitar, and then it's kind of embellished with a group of friends that I've got around me. It seems to be becoming solid now. It looks like these people are going to stay. But, you know, I might do another album which is just me and a cello player. I mean, I don't know. The main thing with me is the words and the essence and the feel of the songs. Hopefully they mean things to people. I just don't want to frivolously just do lyrics to fit in with a nice tune that I had. I don't do that. It's the heart and soul of it is the lyrics, what the journey, what the song is about. Earnestly try and sing it, and then, you know, then put the music and the sound, and keep working on the music and sound until that suits. So it's hand in glove. So basically that's where I'm at with the music. You know, I'm pretty new to music, and I'm pretty new really to the music scene. I mean, I came out of nowhere, and I've been getting some good support, and I've been getting quite a lot of radio play and stuff, and yeah, it's good to have some friends like, you know, you get Dan the Bard and people like that who kind of promote you and mention you and get, you know, he got us onto Glastonbury Town Hall not so long ago, and that was a treat to go down and play for the Obod folks down there. Again, cost-wise, I went with the flute player, and I went with Matty, and I went with myself, no drummer. I'd have to stomp on a stomp box like C6 Steve. But it sounded okay. It sounded quite good, and we got a lot of feedback. So I think it's lots of littles. It's just building. You know, I'm not full-time on this. I spend probably 70% of my time running a charity. It takes you away from the festivals and going to where you want to go. But there's a duty with what I do. It's been going 35 years. I'm the founder. So really that has priority. But if I wasn't doing that, I would be full-blown on the music, you know, and getting it out there even more.
Can you tell me a little bit about the philosophy behind, or the journey towards the video for Beyond Us Is the Cost?
You know, that particular song, obviously a sensitive issue. It's something that is forever in my head. It's just in human nature. We just exploit everything, you know, from minerals to you name it, to knocking all the rainforests down and, I don't know, palm oil and all this rubbish. But when it comes to, I don't know, this wholesale slaughter of animals and this folly of shooting and killing elephants for tusks and rhinos for horns, you know, for petty aphrodisiacs for certain parts of the globe, for certain people, I just can't get my head around it. I wrote the song, full sentiment. It's a serious issue. It's very sobering. It's a reminder of, and not that we like to forget things, but this is a reminder. And it's in the middle of the album. If you don't want to play it, don't play it. You know, if you're going to be a bit wussy about the whole thing. but it's not a stupid issue. It's a serious issue. So the song is the song, but then when I coupled it with the video images, when we put the video on YouTube and we put it on my site, I was expecting to get a bit of stick, to get some negative feedback. I had one or two in the beginning suggesting that people will not want to listen to my music because they don't like the video. On that song, Beyond Us Is the Cost, I don't care. If people can't look at the truth and realise what we do and stop forgetting what we do. You know, species are lost, and it's almost, I can't stand the philosophy of out of sight, out of mind. It's just a silly thing to do. So again, it's a reminder. The video with the song was to pack a punch. I think it does. We deliberately found all the images. You know, there's dolphins getting slaughtered, there's whales, there's elephants, there's all the nasty things that does go on. There's starving. You know, there's nations and children suffering at the hands of other people's greed, really. So, I didn't want to pull any punches. I don't make any apologies for doing the song or the video. If it's not your cup of tea, don't watch it. Hopefully it does bring a tear to people's eyes as a reminder. You know, I wrote the song, and I put the video together with Carla, and I still get upset looking at the video, you know. So it's nothing to be proud of. It's just a reminder. It's a reflection of what we do, and really I wish it wasn't that way, but it is. And maybe as time goes by, we'll grow up, you know, or we'll see other opportunities to, we use materials now. There's not really, we don't have to go looking for ivory. Do you know what I mean? I don't know what it is. And some nations see it as a traditional thing and a right to go whaling in excess. And I'm sure, you know, I mean, you got the organisations like Greenpeace and stuff. I love all this kind of stuff. Actually, some people do stand up and be counted. I'll be one of them. I don't mind getting into trouble. I'll stick my neck out. I used to get involved with people used to go killing badgers and things for fun. I got myself in a lot of trouble years ago with my brother. Me and my brother, I used to box a lot, you know, in sport. So I wasn't afraid to have a go at anybody. So we'd actually try and stop a lot of people randomly just tearing badges apart with their dogs. And, you know, that made me sick. So I'm not one for taking a back seat. So I'd like to have my say. If I can paint a picture to remind people, I'll paint the picture. I'm in a position to write lyrics and do a song and put a video, put it on YouTube. That's my statement. They're my feelings. I think it's honest. And I make no apologies. So that really is what that song's about. There isn't really any other songs on the album like that. I am not gloom and doom merchant. You know, I'm full of the zest of life, and I like to connect to nature and life. And I'm not a negative person, but that is such a black subject. There's no fluffy bunny way to do a song about that and what we do. So I think it's okay. I think it's honest.
Yeah, and I don't think you'll lose any fans over the honesty. I think they'll remember that song even better for it.
I don't want anyone to lose any sleep, but if it strikes a chord.
If they're sensitive, I think they have enough insight not to sit and watch the video at night.
I mean, I get texts and email messages and Facebook messages day and night because I don't sleep, and I'm up writing songs and drawing and doing images and art and whatever because I don't sleep. I have the temptation to get the phone and like, who's this? Because they're in other countries, they probably don't care I'm in bed, but they're probably saying, did you really have to put that video up? There's an on and off button, you know. Use the on and off. Yeah. Don't watch it. It's common sense.
Did you really have to watch it?
No, you don't.
Answer.
They're probably saying kind of stupid people who sit there and watch a whole film and think that was crap and never turned it off. They watched it all before they complain. So don't go there. You know, it's not for the silly people. It's for the sensible and sensitive people. So anyway, that's me.
Yeah. Back to the music. Where was the best place you ever performed so far?
There isn't one. I think the next place you perform is probably the best way. You know, you can have little venues and you have a magic connection with the audience, which is minimal. It might be 50 people. And that would be more magic and meaningful than it would be to the 2,000 people that were at a festival where you were playing the night before.
Yeah.
Which was just systematic groups on and groups off and entertainment on, entertainment off, where you can have this environment where you're sitting. I'll tell you where one of the best places that I enjoyed the most to play is I have 5 acres of land, and on that land I have a stone circle, which is a meeting place, and we have a fire, and this is where we have all our discussions. I write a lot of my songs there, but we get all my friends, my musicians over, and we have a bite to eat, and we have a drink and chill and do some music with the moon and the stars and the fire, and there's no touching that. We've had some really magic moments there. So it's not the pressure of performing. It was the joy. It was the joy of performing and people joining in and people grabbing an instrument and joining in. So that intimacy you can't buy, you know, and even if you went and done a gig somewhere, there's going to be somebody that's likes it and somebody that doesn't. There's nothing better than when everybody is actually buying into the moment. I really like doing Glastonbury Town Hall. That was really nice. There was a meal, it was all laid out. There was appropriate bands on. It was kind of tailor-made. It was the first time my appearance there, and it went down really well. And it was a lovely sound, and I just loved the vibe. I love the atmosphere. And somewhere that I like to do, and we do every year, is Pagan Con in Preston, which is where I started out. Got a really attentive audience, and most of the people who bought my album, it started there really, and it's built up from that. So you look forward to going back to different venues. I've missed out on a lot because of my commitments to charity, and I've not been able to play this year. I must have missed about 9, 10, 11 gigs that I was supposed to do, which clashed with commitments I had with doing projects for special needs schools and hospitals. I just didn't have the heart not to do it, for me to go and play a guitar and sing some songs for one day. So I missed out on that. And also trying to rally around how many musicians I'm going to take with me, you know. So next year I'm going to have a format, a list of what I'm going to do, where I'm going to go. I think America, like I say, there's a couple of gigs, looks like they're set up in America. Be quite nice to do that.
How did you come up with the name Canada's Rising?
I think it kind of suited me.
Don't see no horns.
I shaved them off with my hair.
Yeah.
Like Hellboy. I think I wanted something that was the angry aspect of the Green Man. Something that represented the turbulent nature of man. Something that, because I'm a blokey bloke, but then I have a sensitive, not feminine side, but I do have an oversensitive side. I mean, I watch the news and I can get quite tearful over things. Hence, Beyond Us is the Cost. I mean, some of those songs upset me to where, you know, it just upsets me. So I'm not one of these macho, stupid, you know, nothing bothers me, because everything does bother me to the extent where I have to paint about it or I have to write a song about it. So I hope that comes out and reflects in the music I do. But the Canonus Rising, I've noticed more and more and more, there's more of a revival, more of an awareness of ecological problems. I think the Green Man's being heard. You know, there's that silent voice of nature that gets drowned out now and then, you know, particularly in urban areas and in progression, the sound of the traffic. But the time to have quiet time, a quiet place, to go to your own Nemerton to connect is essential. I need to do that. And I thought it was quite good to actually use not just a Green Man, but Canonus, and the very fact of this rising issue of this consciousness of coming back into respecting and being in awe of nature, really. And I don't know who we think we're fooling, but we're not in control here. That's all.
So what's your future vision for the band? Your dream?
A dream. I didn't really want to get into having ambition for the band. I think it was, and I didn't really want to get into a situation where I felt I had a pressure to where another year's coming up and I have to keep producing things, because, you know, because I'll go to these festivals and say, well, can I buy your new album? I haven't got one. After one last year. So I've only done 3 albums. It was all in my own time. It was all born from time in relation to experiences that made me want to write a song. I have to be inspired. I don't think you can go looking for it just for the sake of it. You know, just to be seen to be doing something, just to be seen to be putting albums out, because I don't think you've got any integrity when you do that. You know, it shows in the music, or it shows in the words, because you repeat things in the words, and people get away with murder. You write songs, it's a nice tune, but you think the lyrics are just not taking me anywhere. I actually want my lyrics to stay in people's hearts, to stay in people's heads, and by the comments that I'm getting back, I think I've got that right. You know, a lot of people have adopted these as their favourite songs, or certain times of year is represented to them by a song that I've done. That's the greatest honour. But I don't want to lose integrity by just churning songs out. I haven't got an ambition for the band, come what may. Everything's lots of littles. If we're busy next year and somebody wants us to go to bigger festivals, then, you know, but what does that mean? It just means maybe I can touch the hearts of more people because it's a volume of numbers. But I think with the power of YouTube and the internet, you can do that. You know, if you were an invalid or you couldn't get out and you couldn't travel and you couldn't do it, you can still, I mean, I do stuff in this room. You know, this is the studio. And there's stuff on YouTube that I just did over here with a few musicians and a few, you know. So you can get out, you can be prolific, but I haven't got an ambition to be like, I don't want to be the next big anything. I'm an artist. For 35 years, I've run a charity. I paint murals for people. I've got a, you know, that's my commitment to community and, you know, public. And I can't see me not doing that. This is lovely to do, but I wouldn't want to go touring all over the place and be away from what I'm about. And I like to stay with my roots. So I think I will be writing more songs because it's innate. It comes to me. I can't help it. But I wouldn't really want to deliberately go out and have an ambition to go, right, by in 2 years' time, I want us to be up there because really, it's such a niche and personal market, you know, and it's to me, it's not for everybody. A lot of my mates that I grew up in Liverpool, bit of a tough city. They're into boxing, they're into football. None of my friends I grew up with understand anything about what I'm about, what I like. They think they do because I look like, you know, but they got it wrong, you know, so they don't buy in. A lot of my friends I grew up with don't buy into my music. So I'm not looking to impress anybody. If I wanted to become prolific, I'd probably cross over into mainstream music, where there's more options to get more standard radio play, to be a bigger catchment of listeners. You know, so I'm not stupid. I mean, I've done a bit of marketing. I've done all kind of, I've self-promoted a lot. But if you want to do it, like my daughter, Katie, are you familiar with Katie? She has a song on YouTube called Chemistry. She's a singer-songwriter.
I don't think I will listen to it,
Have a listen. But the reason I'm touching on this is because of the power of the internet, is that she did a song called Chemistry. She wrote it, sang it, did the video herself here on YouTube. Got 130,000 hits in 3 days. Somebody phoned me from Nashville. I've got to take it to Nashville. I had to take it to Belgrade to see a producer. She's just won the Liverpool Music Awards. She's just like, Phew. She's a great kid, well deserved. But it's, you know, she's got proper talent. There's some magic she has in her. Her songwriting abilities are way beyond her years. But getting back to this aspect about ambition, she will be ambitious in her genre of music, being a young, pretty girl, doing that kind of stuff. So she could quite easily end up in the charts on television. She gets lots of radio play now, mainstream. So you can do it all through YouTube and through doing what I'm doing now, if I wanted to push. And there's nothing better than going to gigs. But I don't have a big ambition. I'm very happy. I'm getting the feedback and the indulgence I'm getting from people now, which are heartfelt. The comments are beautiful. You know, I'm really happy now the way things are. If things get bigger, they get bigger. If they don't and I fizzle out of existence, you know, it's just the coming and going, isn't it? It's just the way. I've had a blast while I've been doing it.
Hang around, we'll be right back.
admiring all the progress. Ignoring all the cost. Seeing all the harvest now. Not of what we've lost. In the broken mirror of our innocence, there's a man who'll share no blame. He's hanging in the balance now. On the shards of guilt and shame. Show us to the dawn of reason. Let's see what this all means. Our children watch their hopes dissolve in a sea of broken dreams. I wish I was a better man. Do things that no one can. Uniting hearts and souls as one. All dreaming of a plan. Isolation is near complete. Our politics are blind. We care not for the species lost. We're out of sight and mind. To the dawn of reason. Let's see what this all means. Our children watch their hopes dissolve in a sea of broken dreams. Vision of the future is not based on wisdom past. With each and every burning tree, our final fate is cast. Be mindful of this progress. Be mindful of what we've lost. the harvest now. And beyond us is the cost. Show us to the dawn of reason. Let's see what this all means. Our children watch their hopes dissolve in a sea of broken dreams. Show us the dawn of reason. Let's see what this all means. Our children watch their hopes dissolve in a sea of broken dreams.
You're listening to Meet the Bands on All Things Pagan Radio, and I'm your host, Linda Urshin. Today, I'll be talking to George Nicholas from Kernan's Rising. How's this album look different from the last one?
The new one, Urban Druid, I actually felt the first album, Wild Soul, was very samey, but I couldn't help it because obviously, you know, there was In Balkan Beltane, there was songs in there about certain seasons, certain sentiments that I find dear and quite obvious and very pagan-y, you know, and suited all the friends I know and the contacts I have. On Urban Druid, I just wanted to actually bring something new to the table. I did find that in a lot of the festivals and places I go to, and a lot of the pagans, Wiccans and Druid people I know, they do live, let's face it, in cities and urban areas, you know. So they might live in a grey city, but they've got a green heart, you know, that's their soul. And I just thought, and I know lots of urban druids, you know, lots of people who are dedicated to the path and stuff, but they live in cities. So Urban Druid was the name of the album, but also there's a song on there called Urban Druid. And it reminded me when I used to live in London as a cartoonist and an animator, because I'm an artist. So I spent many years in London, and it was soul destroying. I was down there pursuing my career. I'd invented a toy concept called werebears. They were teddy bears that turned into werewolves and became quite famous. So I was doing my little bit, you know, pursuing my dream in London. And then at weekends I'd come back home north up to Liverpool, Merseyside. But the times I spent in London was actually soul destroying. And I just had to go to the nearest park, you know, I needed to be sitting by trees and stuff. Grab your sandwich, grab your flask, go and sit in the green space. And obviously there's many other people, you know, they don't all sit behind a desk, but it was almost like a trap, and it just jaded me. Although they were kind of lucrative years and interested in a career, there was this big gap, there was a void. I just hated being in London with the traffic and the people and the rush and the buildings and the, you know, although you could escape to these green little oases where you could go and sit early in the morning, and if your dinner time and any given time I had the time off work, I'd spend there. So the bones of this song was actually with me from then, you know, about this Urban Druid theme. So obviously I call the album that. It has become quite popular. I gave the theme, the feel of the song, like it's jazz. There's a jazz flute, there's a jazz guitar. Matty's actually playing a bit like a George Benson type jazz guitar. Martin's playing some lovely flute. So there's nothing like that on the first album. So that's a different song and a different feel from the first album. There's stuff in there like Beyond Is the Cost is deliberately based on a kind of it's got a Spanishy feel to it, you know, with the flamenco, the guitar going. So there's departures on the music. It's not the same as Wild Soul. Urban Druid is different throughout. And the reaction, we did Pagan Con the first year when we launched Wild Soul. That was well accepted and they liked it. And I was a bit worried that maybe some people have a set pattern of how they think pagan music should be. I've got to say I'm a nonconformist. I never do what I'm told. I don't agree with what they say on the telly. You know, I actually have to go in between the lines, have a think for myself, come up with my own answers. And I don't think in this modern times, following, you know, the old ways, doesn't have to be stuck in the old ways in terms of a sound. You know, you can give it a lift up a little bit. So I think a lot of the songs I've done are celebrations, and even on Urban Druid, there's songs on there about the ash tree, the oak tree, the witch's tree, you know, the elder. So I've actually celebrated within this new venture. There are songs on the new album which deliberately are made to sound traditional, to suit, like Yew Tree. There's a lot of cellos and stuff going on. So, but I've tried to have a minestrone of music, so I'm not stuck in the same old keys, chords, lyrics, timing. So Urban Druid is different, completely different from Wild Soul. And on my next album, I think I'll be doing something different again. I just need to be pushing it a bit. I just wrote a song last week and I recorded it 2 days ago called River City. And it's the first time I've written an ordinary song, and it's about my hometown, Liverpool. And that was about when I left Liverpool, went to live in Georgia in America. And I'd never been so homesick in my life. I was a cartoonist. I was a paramedic. I was a fireman. I was busy. But amongst all of that busyness, I was still homesick, you know, so I was never so glad as to when I came home. So, like, my home is where my heart is. My heart is in my home. So the lyrics in the song reflect my feelings at the time I departed from Liverpool. Again, left, went away, went into various different careers, but had to come back. And I think that's typical of anybody. You know, you have people who emigrate from Scotland and are always thinking of the homeland, or Wales, and Australia. It'll never leave you. It's in your bones, I suppose. So I need to be here. I need the rich seasons. I didn't like the fact every day was like summertime. When I lived in Georgia, you get up at 7 in the morning. It's the sun is cracking the flags. There was hardly any rainy days. It's like, I really do need to experience the seasons, you know, as the wheel turns.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
How can fans gain access to your music in addition to YouTube?
Well, you can go on my website is www.cernunnosrising.co.uk. Most people know how to spell Cernunnos, is it? CERNUNNOS. So yeah, www.cernunnosrising.co.uk. Stuff on there. They can get my music from Amazon, from iTunes, from CD Baby. Friends of mine have put it up on that. So lots of people do a lot of individual digital downloads. So that's doing pretty good. I actually have the albums here, as well as some people want them signed. Some people want me to do some artwork and customize or leave a note or something. So I distribute from here as well. So they're available by PayPal off my website, as well as the artwork. So again, it's very homegrown.
Any message you want to get out to the listeners?
Oh, no, really. Because it's very eclectic, isn't it? You know, when you think about the listenership, the people that I have listening to my stuff, you know, there's a lot of Druidic and pagan and Wiccan, and it seems to be everybody. You can't really address one particular, and I don't just address Druidic or whatever. I'm kind of doing music for everybody on this kind of path. I know some people don't really mean it. I mean, I think I've been to a lot of places where they're fun places to go, but there's a kind of it's kind of a funnel where it comes down to people who are quite dedicated and quite mean what they say, but you'll get that in all walks of life. You know, I've had people telling me off that I shouldn't be doing this and I shouldn't be doing that, and you've got to be doing this, and you mustn't eat this and you mustn't eat that. But you know, we were born a certain way. I've got to admit, our ancestors were omnivores. You have to eat berries, and you have to eat whatever you have to eat in whatever season or terrain you're in. You know, and I've seen some terrible arguments happening, and how broken up the pagan communities can be over the smallest of arguments. And I don't know what that's about. I've never seen that before. And I don't like that kind of dysfunction. I mean, I run an open mic night, a music night. I've got 680 people on my phone, and I swear I can phone these people up and go, right, I'm having a night, can you come down? And these nights are busy, these nights are full. And sometimes we don't see these people for months, and then other people come every week. But what I like about it is communitas, is that they're like-minded, they like each other's company, there's no jealousy, there's no one-upmanship, it's completely at ease, there's a harmony.
Yeah.
And I'd like that to be the case. I mean, this is not all groups. A lot of groups I've been to in the pagan community, I don't know. I just think they could get on a bit better. You know, I just witness people arguing about things, the right way to do things, and how closer they are to spirit than somebody else is. And I don't think there should be any ego in it. I really don't.
Yeah, I was in a Facebook group and got called fake and a fraud and got kicked out within the hour.
See, well, you know, who knows?
So there are some. I think the number of people who are causing these arguments, they're a small number, but they have too big of an effect on the others.
Well, there's an analogy to that where I have my open mic nights. It's called the Croaky Club, and we tend to do a lot of the country clubs and pubs, not pubs really. So it's a nice little kind of atmosphere, little fire, lovely music, and you've got a really good crowd. And they're all like-minded, and then every now and then you'll get one or two people, mostly guys, will come in who want rock and roll music, or they'll want something, and they'll shout and they'll demand, and they'll be heckling people. So there might be 80 to 100 people in the pub, but two guys or two neighbours in the street can disrupt the whole vibe, the whole street. You know, same with one or two people at parties. It only takes one or two people to upset the whole lot, really. And that's the same where you get somebody that takes the higher ground, is a bit self-righteous, seems to claim, it's almost, you see it in the church a lot, where people are, you know, they're close to Jesus. They're closer to Jesus than the next person in the church and the next person sitting next to them. And I just put that down to ego. Got to sandpaper the ego right down. Just get on with the job of enjoying, you know, the here and now and everybody else's company. We all are like-minded, you know, we all like to sit around the fire, we all like to do ritual and all that kind of stuff. And there shouldn't be anybody standing in the shadows looking down the nose at anybody else, you know. That's the only thing. I wish I saw a bit more solidarity. I'm not broke.
We are a minority after all.
No. There's no, what the hell, what are you arguing about, you know? We're already a minority, so to be breaking up into fractions, and then not speaking for years, you know, and then coming back maybe and not speak. I don't get that, really. So hopefully what I like about art and music, and I've found this across the board, when I'm doing projects in schools, I've got mainstream children with me, I've got special needs, autistic children, I've got kids with severe disabilities with me, and at the end result, the artwork is lovely. Because it's with professionals, with people of all abilities, all ages. Sweet, really nice, and I like that. And I think art and music crosses boundaries. It crosses languages, difficulties, and we all can share in it. I like songs. I don't even know what they're saying. You know, a lot of Gaelic stuff. Yeah. I don't care. There's something about the soul and spirit of the song that touches me, and I love that song. It's nice to hear it in English, but I don't care if it isn't. And world music from all around the world, you think, that's lovely, that's really nice. I've got people talking to me in languages on Facebook. I don't know what they're saying, but there's the odd word, which means magnifico, and I'm going, oh, well, they must like it. Yeah. So I do not know what I'm talking about, but they like the music. Music is really good. It's a good leveler. Bring people in, music and art, the whole thing. Let's share, let's care. And I think that's the only message I've got. I'd like to see a little bit more of the groups coming together than there is now, you know, and not being broken up into fractions and groups, really. I think it would be fantastic if we just... I tell you, a great guy who crosses a lot of barriers and brings people together is Dave, is Dan the Bard. It's when he's with people. I might have a skill as a musician and a singer now and doing some songwriting, but he's got some magic I haven't got. He's an entertainer, but he's really good at actually magnetising and bringing people in. So I wish I had, or I can learn that gift. But But people like that bring people together. I'd like to think I could be in the middle of that somewhere in terms of an effort to be a better man, to write songs that meant something for a cause, to bring people together. And when the people are together, the people stay together. They don't fall out about nothing else. They stay together purely for the love of nature, purely for the love of the spirituality that they're believing in, and stay with it.
Yeah. Thanks again for talking to me, George. I'm going to have to let you go now. I wish you and the rest of the musicians the best of luck with the music.
Thanks a lot, Linda. Thanks for the time, and thanks to everybody for listening, if there's many out there. Yeah, look after yourself, and thanks for the time.
Yeah, you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I am the quiet observer, sitting all alone. I like to watch the dreamers amidst the rush I drone, moving like a river through the landscape of the town. 1,000 different dreamers, none without a frown, without a frown. I am the quiet observer, sitting in the park. I saw the pastel shades of dawn, welcomed by the lark. The lunchtime brought the dreamers, enjoying this green place. A chance of quiet connection, chance of change of pace, change of pace. Stand and watch as days go by, witness to the play. The old ones and the ravens now come for dreamers every day. Oh, da 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 da. I'm the quiet observer, sirens break my thoughts. Police arrest the homeless to drag me for the courts. And down the back streets, then multi-story stairs, past smells and stains and spray cans, proof that no one cares, no one cares. I'm a quiet observer, 14 stories high, and I can see the city lights against the cobalt sky. This is where the dreamers choose to toil and work and play, and seek their fame and fortune till that final day, final day. Stand and watch as days go by, witness to the play. The old ones and the ravens way. Communing with the green man who's hiding in the gray. The lost and lonely spirits through the city streets they roam.